Did you know that Melbourne has its own Coliseum? A place cherished by both Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians alike. A modern day arena where champions rise, dreams are forged, all shattered under the weight of expectation. This is a place of passion, history and stories reaching back to Melbourne's foundations. A place where sacred gatherings once took place and where today the roar of crowds celebrate the spirit of modern gladiators. You might already know her, and maybe you've even visited her or even stood on her sacred turf. Welcome, my friends, to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. But first we need to understand the historical significance of this hallowed ground. The Melbourne Cricket Ground sits on the Wurundjeri land, part of the Kulin Nation, whose people had inhabited these lands for tens of thousands of years. The MCG itself lies on traditional meeting grounds, a place of great significance to Indigenous Australians. It is said that many corroborees were held in this area for events of great significance for the Indigenous Australians who lived and thrived around this area. These lands, along with the surrounding parklands, are nestled beside the Yarra River, known to the Wurundjeri as Birrarung Ma. For countless generations, this mighty river provided everything needed for life, connecting the people to the land in ways both practical and spiritual. Today, the MCG stands as a modern coliseum, drawing comparisons to the great arenas of ancient Rome. Like those historical venues, it is a place where crowds gather to witness feats of strength, endurance and strategy, a stage for modern-day gladiators. This amazing location, which hosts more than 3 million visitors a year, must truly be seen to believed. The G, as us locals call it, is home to so many things. It was the location of the 1956 Olympic Games, the 2006 Commonwealth Games. It is home to the Boxing Day cricket test every year. It is home and birthplace to Australian rules football, which has historically been connected to the Indigenous ball game called Aman Grook. It hosts international performances including Taylor Swift, Guns N' Roses and 109,000 people who came in to watch Ed Sheeran in recent years. It is home to the Australian Sports Museum that pays homage to some of the greatest sporting achievements in Australia's history. Now, I'm going to take you with me on the MCG tour. Well, on the parts that I'm allowed to share with you. This tour runs most days of the week except on big event days and is open to the public. So come with me as we take a glimpse behind the curtain of this miraculous structure and let's get into the bowels of this place and learn some of the history that makes this place so special. So, come on, let's go. On the public tour, you get to come down into the actual basement after you go onto the actual ground of the MCG. We are here at the MCG, the mighty Melbourne Cricket Ground. Wait till you see this. I'm at the MCG. The MCG officially opened back in September 1854 and was the first location of the first cricket match here in Victoria when Victoria had just become a colony. Now, the first actual test cricket match didn't happen until 1877, and that was between Australia and England. And I believe it was Australia that kicked England's butt. So the MCG officially opened back in 1854 in September 30 with a cricket match between two schools based here in Melbourne, and that became known as the Melbourne Cricket Club, the MCC. Now the MCC is still here and they are the ones who actually control the Melbourne Cricket Ground. However, today in 2024 it is more known as the home of Australian rules football. Well, by the time we get to the end of football season, we've had more than 2 million people coming through the G. And then in summer, it's actually opened up for cricket. And we have all types of cricket games being played here. We have Test cricket, we have 2020 cricket, we have one-day international crickets, which is the 50 overs game. We have so many different types. But the first Test match took place between Australia and England back in 1877, where Australia beat the Poms by 45 runs, and the highest score was 164 runs. Now, if you don't watch cricket, don't know anything about cricket, that's a pretty impressive score. So the MCG only sits within 5-minute walk from Melbourne CBD, and you can see it from all over the city, unless you're blocked by the skyscrapers of Melbourne CBD, but it is a colossal structure. It really is. It is the largest stadium in the whole Southern Hemisphere. It holds just over 100,000 people. That's a lot of people, and trust me, if you come to a game of AFL football between a local team, say Richmond versus Collingwood, you will get close to 100,000 people in there, and they sing and they chant and they roar and they love the atmosphere. It is an amazing place to come and watch sport. It is the home of sport here in Melbourne. All around the outside of the MCG, we have these amazing bronze structures, like the one you can see behind me of Dennis Lillee. Now, Dennis Lillee was a famous cricketer. He burst onto the scenes in his first match, taking 8 for 29, meaning he took 8 wickets for 29 runs hit against him. A phenomenal effort. But throughout the whole parklands, if you go for a walk, it's kind of like a sporting, or the greatest sporting people of Australia's history. It's like an avenue of honour for them. We have structures dedicated to, or we have statues for Shane Warne, we have statues for Don Bradman, we have statues for Ron Barassi, we have statues for all these amazing athletes, Betty Cuthbert, all these amazing athletes throughout the history of Australia. They have been honoured and celebrated at the home of sport here in Melbourne. The MCG is also home to the Australian Sports Museum. Now, this is a celebration to all great things sport in Australia. Every sport you can think of is being celebrated in this amazing museum. Now, you can come here and you can take a tour. The tour departs every day, except on big event days, as expected. However, you come and take the tour, you can get a combined ticket to do the MCG tour, which is run by one of the members of the Melbourne Cricket Club, a volunteer, and you'll get to go into the Australian Sports Museum. The MCG tour itself, it takes about an hour and 15 minutes, and I highly recommend you do it because you get to go throughout the whole structure. You get to go up to the very top, you get to go down to the very bottom, and you learn the history and the stories of the stadium from one of its members. Now, the MCC membership, this is an interesting membership club. The current wait list for this membership is 18 years. And my friends, yours truly is on the wait list, and I've been waiting for 5 years, but I've got another 13 years to wait. Then I'll get a provisional membership. So fingers crossed I'm still here by the time I get it. The MCG is also the home and birthplace of Australian rules football, or what we call AFL, or us Aussies, we just call it footy. And it was created back in 1858, and there was a game between two local colleges. I believe it was Melbourne College and Scots College. And the game ended with a draw. It was 1 goal each. Now, each team provided their own umpires, so I'm sure there was a little bit of, I don't know, dare I say it, bias within the decisions. However, it was a great spectacular for so many people that got to come and witness it. That, they didn't know, was going to start this amazing fascination of Australian rules football. And did you know that AFL, or footy, was actually created to keep the cricketers fit into winter season? There you go. Well, that was fun. Highly recommend you come and do the tour yourself and come and see how amazing this place is and learn the actual history of it, because the volunteers, they do a great job, they really do. And to be in there and standing on the actual turf of the MCG, it's almost every boy and girl, well, those from Victoria, it's like a childhood dream coming true. And I'm sure if you're from India or Pakistan or one of the big cricketing nations, you would love to be here. So, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time around Melbourne.